Hello guys, welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. Alright, so we have an article here regarding AT&T. Looks like they're trying to set up service here, trying to get a pole set up, and there's some problems that they're running into, some difficulties. And it looks like the town of Oak Bluffs is pushing back against this. This is not how they want things done. So a little bit of difficulty for AT&T. We're going to go ahead and read this article. The link will be down below in the description for you guys, okay? So the headline title here is Proposed AT&T Installation Raises Questions in Oak Bluffs. So the small cell wireless facility would attach to the side of an Eversource-owned utility pole, they're saying. Here's what's going on. So a proposal by AT&T to install electrical equipment on an existing utility pole was met with pushback from town officials and community members at a public hearing with the Oak Bluffs Select Board Tuesday afternoon. Ed Pear, representing AT&T at Tuesday's public hearing, presented the carrier company's plans to install a 24-inch high, 10-inch wide, side-mounted antenna and associated equipment boxes on an existing telephone pole near 53 Pequot Avenue. The Pequot Avenue site is a replacement location for a previously proposed Circuit Avenue utility pole. That location had been denied by local boards, who later suggested the site change. So, per suggestions from the Cottage City Historic District Commission and the Copeland Plan Review Committee, who have both approved AT&T's applications for the Pequot Avenue, the carrier company agreed to rotate the installation away from the right-of-way in order to be less visible from the street. Unlike other facilities the company has installed, the proposed Pequot Avenue unit is unable to be attached to the top of the pole. But AT&T's proposal raised a number of concerns from the select board and members of the public, who inquired whether there were alternative locations for the electrical installation. As the select board member, Gail Barmakian, noted, the Pequot site is located in a high-density residential area. Barmakian also joined members of the public who raised issues regarding potential health risks of the facility's emissions. Oak Bluffs Park Commissioner Amy Billings, who serves on the Copeland Board, said she had voted against the application at a previous meeting due to the unit's proximity to the park space. But Pear explained that all other utility poles within the immediate area have already been surveyed and were deemed not appropriate for the attachments, adding that an analysis of the surrounding area identified the Pequot Avenue site as the only available pole. He said other locations were rejected for various reasons, including proximity to existing transformers, inability to provide necessary coverage, and significant opposition from the public. In response to questions regarding whether the facility could be attached to an existing utility pole with wireless units already installed, Pear said that due to licensing, once a pole gets used, it's no longer available for additional units. So in an effort to enhance its network, AT&T has identified areas where service was suffering, Pear explained. The particular Oak Bluffs location in question now requires additional wireless units within a target area within a 300-foot radius. So they're saying this is a capacity and coverage issue, adding that through an agreement with Eversource. The company is using existing infrastructure rather than installing an entirely new pole. In response to health concerns, Pear said that an emissions study showed that the facility will emit 4.98% of the maximum allowed by the Federal Communications Commission, adding that the units are very low power. Pear claimed that there'd be no grounds for a rejection of AT&T's application. We satisfied the aesthetics of two significant groups, Historic and the Copeland Plan Review Committee, he said. We have the right to use the right-of-way. We found an existing pole we can attach it to. It's very low impact, it complies with the FCC standard, it complies with the electrical code, and it complies with the building code. This is the only other alternative, he said. It's important to have the service, Amy Billings said, but at the same time, all of the poles are just getting overwhelmed. Eventually, I think we're going to have to go into private locations, she said. I know that's not what Pear wants to hear, but we're getting fewer and fewer poles that these towers can go on. In response to the comments that immediate abutters to the installation site had not been adequately notified. Select member Jason Balboni suggested that the board hold off on a decision until a later date. So they're saying that the board ultimately agreed to continue the discussion and possibly vote on the application at their next meeting on August 22nd. All right, guys. So this is interesting because this is some of the things that these wireless carriers have to go through. You know, you have a small town here that desperately wants the service, that needs the service, but there's just nowhere to even put it. You know, as you can see here, you know, they're having a problem. There's just nowhere for them to attach it. They're saying that they would have to go into a private location. That has to get approved. It could be very expensive for them to do this, but yet this town is urgently, desperately requiring the coverage from AT&T. So it's a struggle for the wireless carrier as well as the town. I mean, here you have AT&T who's trying to get that service out to serve the community there, and they're not really sure where to put it. There's not, you know, it's very hard for them to come into some of these towns to get that coverage out. So I don't know. I found this story very interesting for that reason because, you know, we're always saying like, well, why can't we get deployments out? You know, why can't they get deployments out to some of these rural areas? Well, I think this is some of the problem here is just they're not ready for it. You know, they're not ready for that city power, should I say. You know, those that live in cities are very lucky to be able to get all the coverage that they pretty much want. You know, that's one perk of being in a city area. You get connected to all the technology, and it's obviously a perk of living in a rural area, right? It's peaceful, it's quiet, but you're not getting all that technology. So it's kind of like you're trading off all that tech for peace of mind and quiet, but then at the same time, life is changing, technology is changing, and the way we do things is changing. Everybody is relying on tech, like it or not. Even these small towns are starting to rely on tech. And it's also very important that these small towns, they want to get that service because they need to raise money, right? And they want tourists to come in. And if you can't get service, you know, you're an out-of-towner and you're away and you're vacationing at these small towns and you can't make a phone call on your phone, that you have to use a hotel phone or something. You know, nobody wants that. You know, you need your phone when you're vacationing or just even on a work trip, whatever it is. You know, you need your maps. You need things, right? You need your phone. This is 2023. Where you need to use your laptop. You need to be able to connect to some kind of internet service. And a lot of people are using their phone as hotspot, you know? So, yeah, I mean, this is interesting stuff to see some of the problems that some of these wireless carriers run into. In this case, this town wants the service. Usually, like, you're getting pushback of how they don't want them coming in. You know, we hear a lot of stories about how they don't want them building towers there. They don't even want it, you know, like the people don't want it. But in this case, it looks like everybody wants it. There's just nowhere to put it. And that's the issue. They're afraid that it would cause a problem to other towers that are attached and other device, you know, other electrical components that are attached. So that's a reasonable argument, right? We get that. They don't want to jeopardize anything else. They certainly don't want to cause any problems, you know, where it would be an overload on that pole. But interesting stuff, you know. So thought I'd share that with you guys because, like I said, usually it's the other way around. We're hearing we don't want it. Get out of here. Like, take your service. Like, don't put those poles. No, that's not in this case. They want the connections to the network. They just don't have anywhere to put it. So interesting stuff to me. I don't know, to see what these carriers have to deal with sometimes. It's not always that easy. All right, guys. So like I said, link will be down below if you guys want to read it on your own or share it with someone or not. But as always, thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.